So last week, one of my most anticipated games of the year finally released. Yeah, we got the long-awaited return of Mario Strikers Battle League. And it has received, honestly, one of the worst receptions of any Nintendo game in recent memory. I can't think of a recent Nintendo game getting this much hate. I see a lot of people that I always think are sugarcoating everything for Nintendo, trashing this game. Like, if you just search on YouTube Mario Strikers Battle League, it's not great. The user scores on Metacritic are in the red. It was like a 4.3 last time I checked, which is all sad to me because, like I said, I was really looking forward to this. Like many of these others, I've been playing it, so I wanted to weigh in on it myself, as well as discuss why I think specifically this game is getting some more flack compared to other games Nintendo has released that may have some similar issues. To start, there's actually a fair amount I like about Battle League, like a lot. Visually, I think the game is fantastic. Love the overall look of the characters, the arenas. The one thing about this game that is being universally praised are those gorgeous animations for like the super shots, stuff for when, the characters score, win, lose, etc. Just all absolutely phenomenal. I will say it's kind of sad though when the main thing you see people praising about a game is some win animations and stuff. Like, whenever I see people on Twitter talking positively about Mario Strikers, it's typically about those animations. The gameplay at its core, I think, is great. A really good kinetic feel whenever you're passing, shooting, tackling, etc. All that stuff feels great to do. And that's kind of amplified, I think, by the gear system, which I also like. I think it's cool being able to soup up the characters, playing into their strength. My favorite was having Bowser at, like, the max power I could get him to and just running around bitch-slapping people across the field. You hit them, they just go flying. Also, you can use this stuff in a goofy way, like, making Wario super fast. I think that's a fun way to get more variety out of the roster, which definitely needs more variety. Yeah, that's where some of the issues with this game start. Of course, this is a Nintendo sports game, so it is severely lacking in content. Yeah, probably the most obvious problem that was being discussed long before the game came out is the roster. 10 characters? I mean, it's pretty sad that you can almost have the entire lineup on the field in one game. And yes, there is a lot of uniqueness to these characters. They have their own, again, the animations and everything. Obviously, this isn't like, a FIFA game where, it's mostly stat changes. That's how they're able to have, a bazillion different players. But this is still extremely lackluster, and I don't want to say it hurts some of the positives like those animations, but I mean, it does kind of make them get old over time because, again, with the roster being so small, you're inevitably going to see some of like the super shots in that over and over again because there just aren't many characters. It's like if you had a Street Fighter game or something with 10 characters in it, they could have some really cool super animations, but you're going to see the same ones a lot. And if, like most gamers, you don't have any friends to play with, oof, man, do I feel bad for you. The only single-player content, really, besides just like having a quick match, are the cups where you play a tournament, essentially, against other teams. Obviously, unlike, say, Mario Kart's cups with the different tracks, you're always playing on the same field, so this gets boring extremely quick. It does help you buy coins, to get the different gear, which gives you a reason to play, but that doesn't make them fun to play. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot in like almost every aspect they could be doing to add to the just overall fun factor, right? Like with these stadiums, even having them change the actual fields, maybe add weather effects with some of them, like they've done in past games, would be a big help. I'd go even further with like making the stadiums have an actual effect on the field, that sort of stuff. The item offerings, similarly, I think they could add a lot more there. Like there's just, again, not much variety. Just in so many ways feels kind of bland and plain. Which, that's like the opposite of why we buy these games. Like, I don't play a lot of these big sports games, your FIFA, Madden, etc., because to me they're boring sims. I love the Mario sports games because of all the wacky stuff. And it's almost like you're trying to tone that stuff down for some reason. Now, with many of these Nintendo sports games lately, the focus tends to be more and more increasingly going towards online play. And that's where this game really shines in terms of this whole lacking of content theme. Offline, you can have a full game, 8 players, right, on one console, which I was surprised when they announced that. Thought it was really cool, but online, you can't even group with 4 people, get your friends together and make a full team, and go up like against another team. I mean, how did that happen? Like, that's one of those things that completely boggles the mind, especially for just like a player match. Because I could see perhaps the argument being it may be hard to find like another full team to always play against. Like if you have 4, finding another full team of 4. But in the basic like quick match stuff, who cares if you're playing against like 2 other players, controlling their whole team? If we're not talking about a ranked game. In fact, in a lot of ways, I think having less actual players on your team can be a benefit because it's easier to time like your passing and shooting in that. Yeah, however you slice it, that just feels like a huge monumental miss. And then, of course, the actual online play itself. Once more, this is a Nintendo game, so not the best. It's going to be a bit of a crapshoot depending on the connection of the players you're matched up with. I had some that worked pretty well and some very not so well. Again, that's just pretty much the standard for Nintendo games online. Now, one thing is, this game is called Battle League, and these leagues haven't started yet, at least at the time of this recording. It's going to go live in a few days. While the league play isn't open, I have gone online. It's nice because people can set their clubs, effectively their teams, to open, so you can just join like a random open club. Once more, my fellow gamers, you don't actually have to have friends to play in this mode. So I went in there and joined one of the random clubs that it presented me with. I had a hard time, I'll be honest, deciding if I wanted to lock arms with the Pastor Baiters or 3 Inches Hard. But, I figured I'd just go with the one I'd probably fit in with the best. So, I am going to check that out when it does start. But how much is that really going to add to the game? How long is that going to be able to maintain popularity? I mean, I'm sure, again, the game just came out. There'll be a bunch of people playing this at the start, but as always, 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, what is the online, what is this league play going to look like? Will I maybe get some more fun out of joining up with my 3 Inches Hard brethren? Yeah, I could see it, but it's certainly not going to do much to turn the rest of the issues in this game around. Yeah, again, I'm looking for places to give this game a break, and I can't really find much. Now, this isn't really something new for these Nintendo Switch sports games, as I've said. And I think the reason this one seems to be getting more backlash, so much backlash, because I wouldn't even say necessarily this is the worst of all these launches, but I think people have kind of reached the breaking point. With these games consistently at least launching with little content. And not only that, it's something that's ramping up, right? We got Super Rush just last year, and Nintendo Switch Sports was just a month ago. So it's not only do we keep seeing the same shit over and over again, the pace that we see it at is quickening. So that's why I think we're seeing more of a turn with people. Increased criticism over some of these previous games that had similar issues, which is good. I'm glad people are coming around to this. Of course, you still got the people being like, oh, well, you gotta wait. You gotta wait for them to add the stuff you want. What, you expected to buy the game at launch for $60 and have it be a complete experience? Ha ha ha, you're so stupid. And that's the thing, that crowd, it seems like it's starting to get thinner and thinner. And also what's nice, with the people who are pointing this stuff out, who are complaining about it, and this is the key, they're not only addressing the issues with strikers, it's being framed as this problem that is in all these Nintendo sports games. That's kind of the way I'd like to see people start seeing these games. Hopefully, with so much negativity, this will be a wake-up call to Nintendo about this practice, which, I gotta say, I'm gonna go a little bit into conspiracy theorist mode, because the reason I still had faith before this game released, because, again, I'm one of these people that have been kind of complaining about these games launching with a lack of content, bare bones, I usually say. I had faith in this game because it was being developed by Next Level Games. Obviously, they're the ones who did the original Strikers games on Wii, so this is their bread and butter. But also, because a lot of times with these revivals, you might think, oh, that was a long time ago, maybe this studio isn't on their game anymore. but they just put out probably their best game to date, Luigi's Mansion 3. To me, one of the absolute best games on the Nintendo Switch, and this is a system with a lot of great games. And if you want to talk about the amount of content, I mean, that game's got all kinds of crazy multiplayer modes in that, not even stuff that I'd expect out of Luigi's Mansion, additional content that actually feels like a bonus. You'd figure they'd knock this out of the park. And it not only has these specifically content problems, but they're the same as all these other games. Like, something is going on here. I don't know what Nintendo is saying. Like, maybe they're telling these developers, like, hey, you're going to have free updates ready at the, 2-month point, 4-month point, 6 months, etc. And that's causing these devs to, like, hold stuff back. Or maybe they're just not getting the resources and the time that they need to have these games ready for launch. To be clear, I'm not trying to make an excuse for the quality of the games, but when you've got this happening to so many titles that are, obviously being developed by different teams, you gotta wonder, like, what is going on here? All these games don't just have these same problems as a coincidence. But yeah, whatever is going on, I hope they stop it. Again, maybe with so many people criticizing this game so heavily, they will. Because yeah, it's not working, and people are certainly getting more and more pissed off about it. Anyway, with that, this video is a wrap. Let me know your thoughts on Mario Strikers Battle League in the comments. Are you currently playing the game? Are you disappointed in it? Do you think they're going to be able to add enough stuff down the line to make the purchase worth it? As always, I'm the Shy Guy, Johnny Zakari. Thanks for watching.